Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Catalyst Energies and welcome to your new moon astrology forecast. This report is for Cancer rising, Cancer moon, and Cancer sun. Welcome to Catalyst Energies. My name is Dee. Thank you for joining me. I am so grateful that you're here. Cancer, this report is going to cover the new moon in Aquarius that's happening on the 1st of February 2022, and looking at the major themes between that and the full moon in Leo, which is going to be happening on the 16th of February. So if you've been following my channels and my content for a while, then you know that mid-February has been a topic we have talked about for months now. So here we are, and we're about to go through something all together. And Cancer, for whatever reason, maybe it's just because everything in the zodiac right now is in the top of the chart relating to your relationship with other, who you are in relation to other in a social setting, in your relationships, what you're generating and producing with others, value systems of the group and the whole. All of this, you can see here, so much of it is all in the top of the chart, except for right now, Black Moon Lilith in your first house, and then the South Node in Scorpio, which is going to be moving through your fifth house of your pleasure and passion, right? So there's been a lot of work happening and transformational work, in particular with Pluto involved, in the realm of your interpersonal relationships and who you are in these relationships, these commitments, these contractual obligations, your marriage, your business partnerships. And this new moon in Aquarius for the Cancer is going to be along the axis of resources and energy. And in particular, in the eighth house is the energy you generate in communion with other. And so Cancer is really in a position during this time to step forward truly into relationship. And there is a bit more release around the nature of who you are and how you feel and about yourself and your role within all of this that still needs to be expressed and expelled. And there's room for that to happen with Venus in now moving direct in your seventh house. This is a comfortable place for Venus. I mean, your ruling body is the moon. So tracking everything that it does is giving the Cancer person a pretty good, indication of what's going on for them. But the new moon itself is really setting us all up with an opportunity to fine tune ourselves in a certain area of life to be able to measure the changes in the environment around us and then make reasonable forecasts and decisions in order to be in harmony with that. And for the Cancer person, it's going to be in the area of generating energy, generating power, generating resources. The eighth house is power, and the power that is generated in relationship. And this is any kind of relationship. But what's important to realize is that the Cancer person is being asked and given I wouldn't say asked, but given an opportunity with this new moon and with Saturn involved, right? Saturn in the eighth house, that can be very limiting and very dark with Saturn in the eighth house, right? It's getting down into the nitty gritty of, the abyss and being very weighted into that area. And it could easily turn into a dark place and almost stuck there with Saturn, but also too, a powerful authority and a sense of stability in, a place where it can be very scary, the eighth house, because you don't know what's going to be created without focused intention. And the idea is that you generate something, that you get something from your investment. That's what the eighth house is really all about, regardless of what kind of relationship. But So you want to be able to track this, and Saturn is Saturn is at the very least giving you a sense of stability in what you already have been investing and the return that you were getting. Now it's the ability to fine tune that instrument of measurement so that you can track what is happening and what is being generated in your relationships. Because what that's going to really do with the full moon, as we're going to see, is well, it's going to be in your second house of the resources that are inherent to you. It's the power that is inherent in the world around you. It is your actual resources and assets. And so there's going to be a strong sense, especially because this is the moon, sensitive, possibly very overwhelming but exciting reveal about all of the potentials of the resources around you that is going to be the result of your ability to not only track and measure, but to store all of the energy that is generated in your relationships thus far. And when you generate resources and you give them meaning and you create things, yes, it comes to an end, but what it does is set the tone for the next cycle to begin, right? This is the seed comes around and is planted once the fruit has been harvested and divvied out and used to sustain a community, right? This comes around to the end of the season, and then you plant the new seed here in the first house. There's a little bit left here. And when I say little bit, it doesn't mean it won't be intense, because Black Moon Lilith is very primal and intense, and she will be heard. And this is about you as a person, because who you are in your relationships is going through review and change and is about to be released, right? There's about to be a release from some sort of bondage that is creating space. So this could literally be in your relation, like all kinds of relationships that coming together and activating something new to grow, or at the very least releasing yourself from the trappings of a situation that are ready to be released, and then you become more authentic and yourself in your relationships. But I think that is going to it won't be separated from this need to truly express yourself in a very deep way. It may not even be yourself, but through yourself and your feeling about yourself and who you are is going to be a deep expression for the entire, template of the feminine, right? Of the planet herself. And remember that Lilith is a lot of different characters in a lot of different contexts. So Ishtar, Isis, Inanna, of course, Lilith from the Bible, the original wife, but this is the original divine feminine blueprint, right? It whole in and of herself, but this also demands self-preservation and will act as such. So Cancer, you're really, all the energy is situated for the most part in a focus on who you are in the social scene. And so you have to start becoming aware, and at least for now, in the next couple of months, while everything is at the top of your chart, it won't be till the summer when things start moving into Cancer and Leo and Virgo again, that you'll be able to start focusing more on yourself and your own development again. But we really seeing how important it is for the Cancer person to really be able to manage the shifting landscape in terms of the social environment as a whole with Uranus. And since Uranus really is ruling this new moon in Aquarius, because Uranus rules Aquarius, we are looking at this ability to measure the shifts and changes in the resources you generate. So this can mean all kinds of things. This can mean being able to track the changes in your business, like your investment earnings, your returns, right? Your business profits, to be able to track your own subconscious changes or what's going on under the surface for you. Be able to track the changes in the power dynamics in your relationships, for instance. And with Saturn here, it certainly is going to really stake yourself into this space and potentially be kind of unyielding. But in some ways, too, this is good because somebody has to step in and audit what is going on here. And I feel like that has been happening for the Cancer person in every manner of energy production that there is. So being able to reasonably forecast changes based on conditions changing in this realm, and to be auditing this, right? This I get this vibe with Saturn here, is it will be with this square to Uranus this weekend. The sun will have this square to Uranus. It definitely is going to be very frustrating and maybe some unexpected expressions, and with Lilith involved in the new moon on Tuesday, I wouldn't be surprised. But this square in particular is going to really bring this dynamic up to the surface about keeping yourself tuned into the frequency or the bandwidth or just the changing conditions in the energy that you're generating, while there may be a lot of changes out there in the social environment as a whole that is just moving around, right? And your ability to not run away from this conflict, but lean into it and be able to feel the difference and know really that, you have so much more authority over here in the immediate of income generation, and not even that, energy generation. That's what comes into the 8th house. And so this can be from all kinds of things. Your intention and your relationship with anything allows for this. So this is the lead up, and then we have the new moon, and then we have these connections from Venus and Black Moon Lilith over to Uranus as well. So Venus is, at home in a lot of ways in the 7th house. She's now direct here in your 7th house. This is patient, this is wise, this is grandmother energy, and ready to listen, ready to take in the information, ready to actually consider how the value and what is valuable about your relationships and you and what's valuable for you in your relationships for you, right? And so again, this is in a very strong connection to Uranus in the 11th house, right? There's a trine here. And so if you're sensitive and patient with not only yourself, but other people, and to really listen with your body, listen to and be sensitive to the entire dynamic of your relationships, it will allow for you to actually maybe transcend what otherwise is a shifting landscape in your immediate or in the social environment, and actually maybe find a way to shift into a different bandwidth. Perhaps maybe you realize that you can think outside of the box or innovate, or maybe just wake up or transcend what otherwise is instability in the social environment as a whole, based on this very strong and ancient and grounded patience of the divine feminine incarnate, right? And so even though there is this opposition with the same energy to a possible temper tantrum coming out in or this aspect of yourself surfacing in your very personality, there's something about keeping a sense of humor here and having the self-esteem and the confidence in some ways to accept the clowning, to dish it out about yourself, to not take yourself so seriously. And when that happens, I do again feel like that is a way to invest in and and transmute again this instability in the social environment as a whole. Because as a Cancer, you want to protect, you want to nourish, you want to contain, so that there is growth and a sense of love and real bonding. And you in your relationships have had to change along with the entire socio-political structure of our life, which is, Pluto in Capricorn. So that change is been fundamental for you as it has been for everyone else. And so what you're going through in that is going to make you a really important, have an important role in the social context in terms of who you are. And there's just this last bit that really needs to come out. And she's going to hold the space in your relationships to kind of let this part of yourself come up to the surface and just be able to express whatever it is. And again, the sense of humor about it and using humor about oneself is going to help and transmute, and again, allow for like kind of this quantum experience or ability to transcend into another density in the social environment when it is in a natural or in a certain way is very disruptive. But when you are seeing it from a fifth density, perhaps it will be the disruption is seen as an opportunity or a trigger for awakening. But you have to have this sense of humor about yourself, or have some deconditioning humor to keep your mind and your sense of self like from taking it too seriously or getting too emotional about it or about yourself. Let's see what else is going on here. So Chiron is a big factor because there's a sextile from the Aquarius sun over the weekend. Mars is also going to square Chiron. And so Mars is coming through into your seventh house and bringing this warrior spirit into who you are in relationships. Like you're ready to start like working towards something when it comes to an interpersonal relationship of some sort. And again, when Mars and Venus meet each other at the full moon on the 16th, a repressed aspect of who you are in relationships will finally get released. And it's like the masculine and feminine come together and truly like fertilize new life potential in this way. And Pluto and Mercury going back and forth over Pluto in this area has also been instrumental in helping get into a deeper analysis and really digging into the aspects about who you are that are ready to go. And this was all last part of this lunar cycle. So now there are overlaps though from a lot of this Capricorn energy because of Uranus and Taurus, but then Mars is going to square Chiron. And this is your career and mission has been the area that the triggers and the inner child wounds and these outdated identities are really putting blocks up for the Cancer person. And you really, it's in your mission that you exercise your full subjective potential, right? Aries is your 10th house. And so there is like Mars rules your 10th house. And so it's interesting and rules Aries. And so have some courage, right? Face your fear about whatever it is in your relationships. Maybe it's just embarking on a new commitment or a contract or a relationship, and you will feel the fear. And the square is to whatever, maybe in a past situation, a past life. Maybe it's just in the realm of career in general that you're getting poked at with old identities and wounds. And Mars is great at overcoming fear. And it's you are changing in your relationships. There's a major transformation happening anyway. So allow Mars to be your like inner warrior that's just like, yes, I can overcome my fear. And this is going to really help, I think, see some past situations that that have been maybe holding you back in terms of this in a whole new light. And then there's like a release. And also too, the sextile from the sun to Chiron in the weekend leading up to the new moon is also an opportunity to see yourself and to express yourself in terms of who you actually are, and to see the people and the energy that's generated in your relationships for what it is, rather than projecting your own stuff onto whatever it is that you generate. And again, it will allow for a transmutational moment that can be very healing of some old wounds or old patterns that have like kept the Cancer person from truly like stepping into their real power, right? Their real power. The 10th house is your institutional power. So a lot of interest, all of it's at the top of the chart for the Cancer person. So let's see where we're at here. Let's look at the chart now for the actual full moon, and it's all galactic markings. It's very karmic. You're gonna see we got Pleiadian markings, we got Orion starseed markings. We have Atlantean galactic degrees. We have the natal moon of the United States involved in this full moon. It is a grand square, and it is certainly something that none of us are getting around in terms of a challenge or a conflict by the time we look at this. So here we go. We see the main part of the square, which is the full moon right here in Leo and Aquarius. So again, this is along the axis of resources, Cancer, and power, that you're going to see these things unfold. But also, too, the nodes of the moon are the other angles of this grand square, and these are in the areas of 5th and 11th house, and 11th house in particular, in conjunction with the Pleiades, of the social environment. The town you live in, the associations you're part of, your larger social networks. This is the 11th house. And again, Cancer, there's not been a lot of stability here, but also the potential for awakening and breakthroughs is in this realm is very strong too. Maybe sudden changes or movements as well. In the social animal as a whole. So these are all galactic degrees. Like I said, the moon is at this galactic Atlantean degree. It's about storing power and the capacity to hold that power as an individual, and the karmic aspect of the nodes being in the realms of again power, Taurus, inherent value and worth and power, and Scorpio, again the 8th house, the areas where we that represent the power that is generated, right? The depth of feeling. That is what is generated as power in our urge to merge with each other, to get closer, to produce something, to commune. And as you can see, this is where we've been, right? This is going to have a lot to do with the economy just in general, and our ability to move towards sound money and sound value. And again, for Cancer people, that is the social environment for you. So this grand square is something none of us are getting out of, as I said earlier, but is along the axis of resources, and specifically the who you are and what social environment that you belong to, like who you are as an individual, and what is the social environment that you are part of. And you create these things by the energy that you generate in your relationships. This is what the 8th house is. And you see exactly with this full moon, there's going to be quite a feeling here, and it may be overwhelming, and a lot of incredibly exciting possibilities of resources, and all kinds of resources, whatever is valuable or you identify as valuable, which is, your assets in the bank, your whatever generates income for you, your house, your land, your genetic resources, right? Your actual DNA, your body itself, your energetic resources, your traditions, those are all 2nd house, but this is inherent value in the world around you that you can harness and use. So there's a lot of exciting possibilities for the Cancer person in terms of what you can do, how you can be part of adding to the value of the world around you and to your own life. But look at this, it's all up top. It's really important for Cancers to realize how much of the focus is on their social and relational life right now. And this full moon is not going to be any different. So and like I said, all starseed markings here with this grand square, right? You don't get out of these squares. This is a conflict like no other that's going to have to do with the individual versus the collective, right? Which is where the Cancer person is generating their power from, which is the social environment. And with Taurus and Scorpio, our soul's journey is along a much more experiential, and right now has a lot to do with the Pleiadian signature, which is very much connected to the frequency of the natural world and being in communion with it, and being very open-hearted, and being one with what is. So, Cancer, I'm going to show you a flyer right now, just in case you are interested in seeing, and if you haven't seen it already, and you are, and you're interested in learning about your starseed origins, if that's speaking to you at all, and you don't have access to Telegram, or you haven't joined us on Telegram, and you're not on the email list, I am offering these starseed readings at a discount right now for the Pleiadian revival. That video will be linked in the description box below if you're interested in that. That's all about the nodes in the territory of the Pleiades star cluster and what that has in store for us. And this full moon in Leo is very much part of that reading. So you can always get some context too if you watch that video. So that's linked in the description box below. But these readings are recorded videos that I send to you when I get your birth details. And 30 minutes is great for just like an introduction to your starseed markings and the traits associated with those places. And then the 60 minutes is way more of an involved. And then I have a whole package that's on my website. So you can go to the website too and check out and send me an request through the website too. But you can send me an email if you're interested here in this, and we'll get you a recording, and you can get your starseed markings integrated into your everyday practice and the way that you conceptualize your mission in life. So with that being said, Cancer, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Everything you need is in the description box below. I keep doing that. And you can also really support this work through Subscribestar for $3 a month. It allows me to keep doing this and making it accessible and available like this on YouTube and BitChute. So because I don't have any sponsors, I don't have a monetization. So when you subscribe on Subscribestar, it really does actually assist me in keeping the production quality high and to put this much energy and time and attention into these reports. So thank you in advance. And Cancer, I will see you on the next report. Have a great new moon, and we will check back in again at the full moon in Leo. Take care. Bye.